Just keep it authentic TV, where we only speak on facts. Just keep it authentic TV. We keep it real, no cap. Just keep it authentic TV, where we keep it out and that. Just keep it authentic TV. We don't do no pretend. Just keep it authentic TV, baby. Bringing you the latest news from an authentic view. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. Baby, bringing you the latest news from an authentic view. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. Just keep it authentic TV, baby. Bringing you the latest news from an authentic view. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. Ay. Just keep it authentic TV, baby. Bringing you the latest news from an authentic view. Let's get it. Just keep it authentic TV, where we only speak on facts. Just keep it authentic TV. We keep it real, no cap. Just keep it authentic TV, where we keep it out and that. Just keep it authentic TV. We don't do no pretend. Just keep it authentic TV, baby. Bringing you the latest news from an authentic view. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, baby. Bringing you the latest news from an authentic view. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it.
What's poppin', what's poppin', what's poppin'? We back with another video. Y'all know what's going on. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. It's Keep It Authentic TV with your host, Blanco, man, bringing you the latest news from an authentic view. It's Friday. The weekend is here. I don't know what y'all got planned for the weekend, but me, man, you know, I think I'm gonna do a little relaxing this weekend. Last weekend, Memorial Day, you know, me and the wife, family, we went camping. You know what I'm saying? We was out there in the wilderness 3 days. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about with the wild. Snakes, the turtles, the frogs, the lizards, whatever else you could find out there. Nah, dog. But for real, though, it was a good time. You know what I'm saying? I had a good time. You know, it was peaceful. Got to sit around the campfire and make s'mores. You know, we had the grill out there, so you know we was cooking up that good food. You know, we took a hike out to a place called the Devil's Bathtub. You know what I'm saying? And for those of y'all that, you know, like camping and y'all looking for a good spot to go camping, listen, we found this spot in Virginia. I think it's called Dugannon, Virginia. Don't quote me on it, but I think it's called Dugannon, Virginia. You know, it's called the Devil's Fork Campground. Nice little spot. And from the campground, you can actually hike. Now, I'm going to forewarn you ahead of time. That hike from the campground to the Devil's Bathtub, that's about a 2-hour hike. So if you ain't into walking and crossing streams and all that type of shit for 2 hours, then I don't know what to tell you. Now, from my understanding, you know what I'm saying, there is a way that you can drive down there closer and then walk the rest of the way. But the way to get there, I'm going to tell you like this. You ain't driving to the Devil's Bathtub. It just ain't no way you driving it. You're going to have to do some walking. You're going to have to do some hiking. So put your hiking shoes on, put a comfortable pair of shoes, and get to stepping. That's all I can tell you. But like I said, man, as y'all can see from the title of the video, you know what I'm saying, we're going to be discussing a story that happened in Minnesota. You know what I'm saying, there was a Minnesota teen that was shot and unalived, you know what I'm saying, hours after he was seen on IG posting a massive amount of money. You know what I'm saying? Now, when I first saw this story, right, first thing that came to my mind was that, okay, listen, this is what a lot of these young kids is into. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what, you know what I'm saying, these young kids be thinking or what be going through their mind. You know what I'm saying? When, you know, you get on the internet and you flash large amounts of cash. You know what I'm saying? I've always thought that doing things like that places a target on your back. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to understand, people are on the internet every day looking for schemes and scams that they can pull off. You know what I'm saying? And when you get on the internet, right, and get on there and you flash large amounts of money, whether the money is real or whether the money is fake. From a video, you can't really tell if the money is real or fake. So when you get on IG or Snapchat or Facebook or X, Twitter, whatever platform you want to get on, when you get on these platforms, right, and you flash that large amount of money, you know what I'm saying? The person looking at you, the person watching you, all they see is the money. They don't care about the money being real or fake. They just see the money. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't help if you have somewhat of a name or somewhat of a reputation or buzz attached to it. You know what I'm saying? So if you a kid or if you just an individual, period, you know what I'm saying, and you have some type of reputation, meaning that, your name well known, in your neighborhood and across a few surrounding neighborhoods, quite a few people might know who you are. You know what I'm saying? And then you get on the internet and you flash a large amount of money. People look at that and they be like, okay, yeah, I know who that is. He's a famous streamer or he's an up and coming rapper. He's this or he's that. You know what I'm saying? And, that makes people think that, oh, he got a bag. You know what I'm saying? That's an easy lick. So this is an unfortunate situation, right? But we're going to get into it and we're going to explore the details and the facts to see what actually really took place. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's pull the story up, man. Okay, so we got the story right here, and this is from AOL. And as you can see, the headline says Minnesota teen shot dead hours after posting photo with huge bag of cash online. You know what I'm saying? So let's read the story and see what we got. Okay, this is a picture of who the young man is right here. Rest in peace to this young man. Condolences to his family. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all going through a rough time right now. Pray that God give y'all the strength and the knowledge and understanding to get through this situation. But let's go ahead and read into this story. Okay, so it says in a suburban Minnesota town, a 17-year-old was shot dead hours after he posted a photo on Instagram of himself posing with a massive bag of cash. On Sunday, Tyson Michael Goodsell was found with a gunshot wound after his vehicle crashed into a North Minnesota townhouse. According to police, officers were dispatched to Goodsell's neighborhood around 11 p.m. following reports of gunshots in the area. They were notified that the white Hyundai sedan had crashed into a townhouse about a 5-minute drive away from Goodsell's family home. It comes after a separate horrifying incident where a woman, 27, was gang raped, stabbed 50 times, and forced to carry her intestines in her hands. Man, what the hell? Man, what's going on in Minnesota? I ain't know Minnesota was getting down like that. You know what I'm saying? So this is an incident that comes off of another horrifying incident where a 27-year-old woman was gang raped, stabbed 50 times, and forced to carry her intestines in her hands. Hey, listen. Let me ask y'all a question, right? Listen. I don't know. Listen, I got one thing to say. That's all I can say about that. You know what I'm saying? You ever look at somebody and wonder what's going on inside their head? You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever seen a person accused of such a horrific crime, right? That you just look at them and you ask yourself, what is going on inside this person? You know what I'm saying? But let's continue reading the article. It says the teen was found inside the car, and police performed life-saving measures before transporting him to a nearby Mayo Clinic Health System Mankato Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead, according to authorities. His death is being investigated as a homicide. North Mankato police said it is unclear if he was killed before or after the. Investigators have not said whether the final Instagram post by the Mankato West High School football player played any role in the killing. Okay, so listen, this kid was a high school football player, probably was a pretty good player. You know, he probably had, future prospects of going to college, possibly playing football in college, possibly moving on to the NFL. So now, here it is, this good kid, because they haven't really said anything bad about the kid. They haven't really spoke on anything and saying he had a troubled past. From all accounts and from the facts that have been put out there thus far, it's we can assume that this kid comes from a good family. You know what I'm saying? High school football player. You know what I'm saying? Probably had good grades in school. Maybe was, fascinated or intrigued with with the street life. But who knows? You know what I'm saying? All we can go on is the facts. You know what I'm saying? But, once again, rest in peace to this young man and condolences to his family. Let's continue on reading the article. Saturday, Goodsell posted 3 photos of himself posing with a duffel bag packed with $100 bills. Captioned the images, "My outfit committed a murder." Okay, so basically, from this little statement here that I just read, right? It's safe to assume that this kid was probably, this kid probably had 1 foot in the streets, 1 foot in school playing football. You know what I'm saying? So, it's almost safe to assume that this kid probably succumbed to the peer pressure of his friends, who were possibly in the streets. You know what I'm saying? And because it really they really haven't spoken on anything besides that this kid was a high school football player. They didn't say anything about, he was an aspiring rap artist, he was doing XYZ. The only thing they said that, he was a high school football player. So in high school, why would a football player have a duffel bag full of $100 bills? You know what I'm saying? Unless there's some type of secret life that he's living, you know what I'm saying, that don't nobody know about, right? But let's keep on reading the story. Family member told PC News that Goodsell had been working a closing shift at a nearby Papa Murphy's Pizza restaurant roughly an hour before the shooting. The location closes at 9 p.m. Police have not disclosed where he was or what he was doing in the time between leaving work and the fatal incident. Okay, so far, what we know from this story is that this kid was a high school football player at a high school in Minnesota, and he worked closing shift at a nearby pizza restaurant called Papa Murphy's. Okay, listen, from my experience, right, you're not making enough money to have a duffel bag packed full of $100 bills working in a pizza shop. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nobody from Domino's. I don't know nobody from Pizza Hut, Little Caesars, or any of these other pizza places. You know what I'm saying? Papa John's, and whatever other pizza places they got all across the United States of America. I ain't never known nobody to be making that type of money to where they could, have a duffel bag packed full of $100 bills. So either it's safe to assume that the money in that bag is fake, or this kid has some type of double life going on or some type of secret life going on that his family probably didn't know about. You know what I'm saying? Or the $100 bills in that bag, fake. You know what I'm saying? Nonetheless, right? It would be a sad situation if this kid posted a duffel bag full of fake $100 bills and he has now lost his life because of it. You know, so this goes back to what I was saying earlier. Prop money can still put a target on your back. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people may not think so, you know, because it's so common. We know that people use prop money in movies. You know, rap artists use prop money in videos. You know, people use prop money to make content and all sorts of things like that, right? So, you know, I know it's kind of, you know, tough to believe, but listen, once again, like I said earlier, from a video, you cannot tell if the money is fake or real because they're not giving you enough close-up shots of the money. You know, and when they do, it's very, you know, limited. You might get a 1 to 3 second close-up shot of it, and it's not enough time for you to actually look over the money and be like, okay, that's fake money. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, man, if the money was fake, it's a sad situation that this kid has lost his life over fake money. You know what I'm saying? If the money was real, it's still a sad situation. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue reading the story. His mother, Marissa Weber, told Minnesota Star Tribune that she last spoke with her son around 10 p.m. that night. He mentioned wanting to go camping with a friend. How about that? I just went camping last weekend. Shout out to y'all on the camping trip. A plan she lightheartedly questioned, wondering why anyone would want to sleep in a tent at that hour. You know, so, you know, I don't know. It seemed like, you know, he was trying to talk his mom into going camping, you know, at 10 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you know, I just went, me and my wife and family, you know, we just went camping this past weekend and we slept outside in the tent, you know what I'm saying? And all night long, you know, so, you know, I don't understand what she mean by, you know, who would want to sleep in the tent at that hour. You know what I'm saying? That's what you do when you go camping, unless you're going to stay up all night. But let's keep on reading the story. Approximately an hour later, she heard the gunshots that took his life. By Tuesday, investigators had identified a 2010 Chevrolet Impala believed to be connected to the case, though no arrests have been made. I would love to see somebody held accountable for my son, but I am not angry. I think I'm just so sad, Weber told the paper. I know what kind of potential he had, and I knew he was going to go places. Goodsell's biological father, Weber says, has been estranged from his son, has also spoken publicly about his death. Yes, my son was shot in the head last night, Zach Goodsell wrote on Facebook early Sunday morning. R.I.P. Tyson Goodsell. Wish we could have had the talk, man. You know your daddy loves you. Okay, so look, let's stop right here for a minute. So far, what we know is that we have a 17-year-old teenager who, you know, from all accounts, has a mother, you know, and somewhat a father in his life. His father's not there 24/7, but, you know, he knows who his dad is. You know, he has some type of communication or relationship with it. You know, we don't really know the details as to what, you know, is going on between the mother and the father. It just says that, you know, the father has been estranged from the family for quite some time. You know, but now, you know, I can only imagine what this father is going through when, you know, he knows that he has an estranged relationship with his son. But now, you know, his son's no longer here. And just like he said in his statement, I wish we could have had the talk, man. Well, it's a little too late for that now. You know what I'm saying? So, a word of advice, word of encouragement to all my fathers out there. You know, if you have children, you know, it is very important that you become and you stay involved in your children's life. You know, we all know that tomorrow is not promised. You know, life is not promised to us. You know, we can be here today, on tomorrow. So I kind of find myself, you know, and this kind of ties into personal experience for me because, you know, I've been through a couple situations where I didn't have a great relationship with my grandmother. You know, and she recently passed away a few years ago. And, you know, when I got the news, I really didn't break down. I didn't cry, you know. I mean, I really didn't do anything. You know, there was no type of emotions at all, you know. And, you know, later on down the line, you know, it started to hit me and I started to fall into like that state of depression where it's like, okay, well, there's a lot of unanswered questions that I never got answers to. There's a lot of conversations that I wish I could have had with her that I didn't get to have. You know what I'm saying? So that part of it, you know what I'm saying, when that part of it came into play, that's when I finally broke down. You know what I'm saying? And I went through a lot of, you know, turmoil and, you know, argument, you know, with my family about it because they felt like, you know, oh, that's messed up. You know, you didn't, you know, take grandma's death like the way everybody else took it and all this and that. You know, and I had to really sit down and reflect on that situation. I really had to think about it. And I had to understand and I had to break it down to them and make them understand that, you know, listen, you know, your relationship with her may have been different from the relationship that I had. So, you know, the way you reacted to the situation, you know, as far as the way I reacted to the situation, you know, yeah, it was different, you know, but it didn't mean that, you know, I was cold hearted or insensitive to the situation. It's just that, you know, right then and there when I got the news, it didn't affect me immediately. You know what I'm saying? So once again, I'm gonna stress this. You know what I'm saying? If you're a father, you know what I'm saying, become and remain actively involved in your children's life because you never know when they're going to be taken away from you. You know, but let's keep on going with the story. Goodsell would have started his senior year at Mankato West High School this upcoming autumn. Okay, so that's all with that story. So like I said, man, rest in peace to this young man. Condolences to his family, you know, and I pray that his family gets justice for this situation. This is definitely a sad situation. I don't wish death upon anybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't wish harm upon anybody, especially children. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I think it's a little more to this story than what is being told. You know what I'm saying? They may just not have dug into that part yet. But now that we read the article, right, we're going to go check out this video that they made. And shout out to Hookah Anonymous for the video. You know, make sure y'all go over there and subscribe to that channel. Check out the content over there. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to get into this video.
Minnesota teen Tyson Michael Goodsell, 17, was found dead after posting an Instagram photo showing himself with a massive bag of cash. Police said he was shot hours later after his vehicle crashed into a North Mankato townhouse. Officers were dispatched around 11 p.m. after reports of gunshots in the area. Investigators have identified a 2010 Chevrolet Impala, believed to be connected to the case, and his death is being investigated as a homicide with no arrests made.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you check us out on Patreon at www.patreon.com/hookah_anonymous_. You guys been telling us to create one for the longest, so we recently created a community where we will upload videos that we can't share on YouTube due to their guidelines. We'll also be dropping the latest to there first, behind the scenes information that you wouldn't find anywhere else on our socials. So make sure you become a member, and after you do that, head over to our official Instagram page at hookah_anonymous_ and follow us there. Now without further ado, let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, how does a good kid who comes from a decent home, play football, and never bothered anybody gets into trouble to the point where his life was mysteriously taken within hours of a social media post?
It's so easy to become a podcaster with Riverside.
Yeah, see, that's my whole
First,
thing.
go to Riverside and open an account. When you're ready to...
My whole thing is that's the question that I want answered. You know, from all accounts, you know, it was never reported that this kid was a troubled kid. It was never reported that, you know, he caused any trouble, he bothered anybody, you know, he was in the streets. Nothing. It just says that, you know, he was a football player going into his upcoming senior year, and he worked a night shift at a pizza place. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of, you know, it's kind of puzzling as to, you know, why they chose this kid. You know what I'm saying? But let's keep on.
This story has been brought to our attention to shed light on it, where some say he was innocent, just wanted to make money and be himself. Others are saying there's a far more sinister side to it, where the looks could be deceiving, and behind a young Minnesota teen lies deception, money, and possible crime. However, his loved ones say that that's not what it is, and Tyson worked hard for his money, stayed to himself, hit the gym, and was eager to become a man.
Listen, I understand the family's position on this. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard to convince people such as myself that this kid worked at a pizza shop. You know what I'm saying? How much money could he possibly been making working at a pizza shop? You're talking about a kid, 17 years old, who posted a duffel bag. Okay, look, we can see the duffel bag right there on the floor. You're not making that type of money working at a pizza shop, bro. Like, I don't care what you say. There ain't a pizza shop on planet Earth paying you that type of money. Look, that duffel bag is full. And they said that duffel bag had $100 bills in it. Okay, they could just be looking at what they see on top. You know, they don't know what's underneath that. You know what I'm saying? But needless to say, right? A person working in a pizza shop is not making that type of money. You know what I'm saying? So there's got to be another side to this kid that ain't nobody telling. You know, but we finna get into it and we finna find out. Let's go.
Perhaps the eagerness may have been one of the sole reasons why he's no longer here. The attack on his life wasn't random, and it's alleged there's a young female involved that may know more details on it than she's exposing, or may have had something to do with Tyson's demise by the way of a setup. Right now we don't know, but what we do know is a 17-year-old kid is no longer here over nothing. And his father have also pointed out that he believes his son was set up as well. And as we find out what happened to him, it definitely was a targeted situation where the suspects knew exactly what they were coming for. Now before we get into it, let me just say this. Once you participate in the streets, or even look like you are in any way, shape, or form, you have to be prepared with what comes with it. A lot of guys lost their life trying to act like they're a part of something they really wasn't, and when the energy they attracted actually came back to haunt them, the pressure was too much. And I think the perfect way to explain this is this. Imagine wearing a fake chain and going to the club. You got guys who are hungry and see anything like that as an opportunity to eat. So let's say they see you, try to rob you for your chain, and in the process, you get shot. The suspect who's trying to get some money for that chain would take it to a pawn shop, only to realize that it was a fake chain in the first place, so he did all that for nothing. But then you also got to realize that now you're shot over a fake chain, and there's a possibility that you may lose your life. And once again, all over a fake chain. You understand why I made that comparison in a minute, but in the meantime, we're going to get into the video where a 17-year-old kid was shot in the head just hours after making a social media post. But before we do, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, hype the video so we can get into the algorithm, and if you...
Okay, let's stop right here for me. let's look at this photo. This photo right here on the screen. Okay, look at this photo right. This looks like he's in a back alley somewhere. So it could possibly be some type of recording studio, some type of, I don't know, but it doesn't look like a respectable business. I mean, now it could be possibly, it could possibly be, out back, the break area, but where he worked. But I'm leaning towards, nah, I don't think so, because look at the signs on the wall. It says caution, no smoking on platform. You know what I'm saying? So this looks like a loading area right here. So why would you be taking photo at a loading area with a duffel bag full of money? Like I said, I believe that there was more going on with this kid than what his parents knew, and as far as what the public knew. You know what I'm saying? But I believe that in this video, a lot more information is finna come out as far as to what this kid was involved in. So let's keep going.
Do not subscribe to the platform already, make sure you do so now. Let's get into it. "17-year-old Tyson Goodsell, aka Tyson G, was a resident of North Mankato. He played football, worked a job, attended school, and loved to go to the gym. His friends will all describe him as a chill friend who didn't bother anybody, but liked to dress and take pictures with money he made from working. Goodsell worked the closing shift at Papa Murphy's Pizza Shop in North Mankato, where he finished around 9 p.m. Saturday night. It said that after his shift, he would stop to take a picture with what appeared to be a duffel bag full of money, visibly seeing stacks of hundreds and 20s inside the bag as he posted it to Instagram. It would be this picture that many believe will lead up to what happened next, as shortly after he would be shot while making his way home, and he wasn't too far from his residence. A report from an online news article from KSTP would state, quote, "The North Mankato teen homicide victim, who was shot before crashing into a townhome on Saturday night, has been identified as 17-year-old Tyson Michael Goodsell, according to police. As of Tuesday morning, investigators are still searching for a silver 2010 Chevrolet Impala that may have been observed traveling through the area. They are asking residents on Pleasant View Drive, Northridge Drive, and the surrounding neighborhoods to review any available home surveillance video. Officers responded Saturday at about 11:03 p.m. to the area of Pleasant View Drive and Willow Lane after reports of gunshots. A short time later, police said that they also got a call regarding a car that crashed into a townhome on Willow Trail. Goodsell was found inside the vehicle, and officers started life-saving measures before he was taken to a nearby hospital. He passed away a short time later. North Mankato police say they believe the shooting was not a random act, but said there is no known threat to the public at this time.
17-year-old North Mankato teen was fatally shot in his car over the weekend.
It happened at the intersection of Willow Trail and Pleasant View Drive late Saturday night. Tonight, KUIC's Evan Berg has the latest on the investigation and what we're learning about Tyson Goodsell from those who knew him.
Okay, let's stop right here for a minute. Okay, so listen, right? You in his back, right? He said that his friends made a statement that said he was a chill friend who just liked to dress up and take pictures with the money he made from work. Okay, once again, I'm not convinced that that duffel bag that he posted in that picture, that money came from him working at this pizza shop. I'm just not convinced of that. Now, my second question is, even if that is the case, let's just give him the benefit of the doubt and say he was working, saving his money. Why would you take a duffel bag of cash to work with you? Why would you be riding around with a duffel bag full of cash, bro? It just doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I believe that there's something else going on. Now, they did mention earlier that it could have possibly been a setup. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ruling that out. You know what I'm saying? Because we all know how, you know, the situation with these young ladies, you know what I'm saying? They find a nigga that's got some money, excuse my language. They find a young man, they find a guy that's getting a little money, and they get talked in to a situation by the guys from their neighborhood. Oh yeah, you know, we need you to set him up. We need you to meet with him over here, and we gonna be posted up. And when he get there, we gonna run down on him. We gonna take it all. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not ruling out the possibility that this could have been a setup. But what I am ruling out is I'm just not convinced. Not yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not convinced that this kid made all this money working from a pizza shop. But let's keep going.
A North Mankato neighborhood is still processing after 17-year-old Tyson Michael Goodsell was shot and killed near Pleasant View Park on Saturday night. People who live near Willow Trail and Pleasant View Drive in North Mankato say they awoke to the sound of 4 loud pops around 10:50 Saturday night. They thought they were fireworks at first, but soon it was clear it was gunfire. One resident on Willow Trail says after the shots woke him up, he heard a loud boom. That's when something crashed into his home. Soon after, he saw headlights and smoke. Thinking his garage was on fire, he rushed out to find a car had backed into the side of his house. Inside, there was a teenager with a gunshot wound. Goodsell's family tells KEYC Goodsell had just finished closing up the store at Mankato's Madison Avenue Papa Murphy's an hour before the shooting. Police say they began life-saving measures at the scene when officers arrived at 11:03 and the teen was taken to Mayo Clinic Health System, Mankato, where he later died. To honor Goodsell's memory, classmates and neighbors have been leaving flowers at a makeshift memorial at Pleasant View Park. Goodsell was an incoming senior at Mankato West who plays for the football team and who is known to live in the area. Investigators say they do not believe the shooting was random, and classmates of Goodsell claim he was being bothered by an unnamed group of people. The police say there is no known threat to the public. In North Mankato, Evan Berg, KEYC News Now.
Tell Monday what you need. We're creating an agent and naming him Tony. Now let's...
As of right now, no suspects have been named. Anyone with information is urged to call North Mankato Police at 507-625-7883 and ask for Lieutenant Brian Gangelhoff or investigator David Von Verge.
Now here's where things get interesting. As the father of Tyson would respond to his son's death on Facebook, he would address it from his personal page first, stating, quote, "Yes, my son was shot in the head last night. Anyone with info, direct message me ASAP. Rest in peace, Tyson Goodsell. Wish we could have had that talk, man. Know your daddy loves you. This dude gonna have a hard time in prison, and it ain't even gonna be on me. My name holds weight, and his butt effed up. I don't know why God keep taking everyone and leaving me." Now his father also owned a barbershop, and from that barbershop page on social media, he will also sing a different tune when it comes.
Okay, let's stop right there for a minute. Let's reflect on that statement from the father. You know, and I want to pick out one key part of the statement. He said that this dude is going to have a hard time in jail, meaning that the person responsible for this crime, whenever they get caught, they're going to have a hard time in jail. He also said that my name holds a lot of weight. Okay, so now we're getting a little closer, a little deeper into what was really going on with this kid. So, based on that statement that the father made, right, it's obvious that the father has some type of dealings with the streets. In order for you to make a statement like, my name holds weight, You know what I'm saying? Usually that comes from people involved in the street life. You know what I'm saying? Usually that comes from, you know, people get that type of reputation when they're out in the streets putting in work. You know what I'm saying? So just based on that statement, you know, we can assume that, you know, his father had either some type of dealings with the streets. You know, maybe he got out, opened up a barbershop, and turned his life around. You know, we don't know. But just based on that statement, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of a street oriented statement. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, for you to make that type of statement saying that, you know, person that's responsible for this is going to have a hard time in jail because my name holds weight. You know what I'm saying? So essentially what you're basically telling the public without saying it is that, okay, listen, when I find out who's responsible for this, I'm going to make a few phone calls, or I'm going to put the word out. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make sure he get dealt with. That's not the way we handle this, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Once again, I know you're grieving. I know you're going through a hard time right now. But listen, right now, the goal is preserving the legacy of your son. You know what I'm saying? And you can't preserve the legacy of your son by taking the law into your own hands. You know what I'm saying? I understand, brother. I'm a father too. And if something was to happen to one of my kids, in the heat of the moment, I'm probably going to be the same way. I'm probably going to be making all kinds of outlandish statements, you know what I'm saying, that can incriminate me or, you know, lead the police to believe that I'm trying to take the law into my own hands. So I get it. I understand. But, you know, to the father of this young man, listen, let justice take its course. You know what I'm saying? And when justice is served, just let it be. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to take the law into your own hands, man, because, you know, we don't want to see you end up buried next to your son or end up spending the rest of your life behind this incident. So, like I said, man, you know, I understand you grieving. I understand you upset. I understand you hurt right now. You know, you just lost your son. But you got to let justice take its course, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. We've seen so many situations where justice just don't work in our favor. You know, but in a situation like this, you just got to trust that it will work in your favor. Let's continue.
To his son's death, where in the first post, he would state, quote, "My kid didn't deserve this. He worked and hit the gym. My boy was becoming a man and died for his respect. Rest in peace, my strong boy. Your dad is still proud of you. Rest in peace, Tyson Goodsell." Now in the next post, he would allege that a girl may have had something to do with his son being set up and also provided a screenshot.
Okay, so let's stop right here, because this is the second time they showed this picture of Tyson right here, whoever this young man is, sitting to his left, and the young lady in the front right. Okay, I'm assuming that they're trying to say that it's possible that this is the young lady that set him up. You know what I'm saying? And I really don't like when, you know, people throw claims on people like this without knowing the facts. You know, we don't know if this young lady had anything to do with this. So I'm not big on, you know, people just throwing allegations on people without having the facts to back it up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to agree or run with the scenario that this is possibly the young lady that set him up. We don't know that. There's no facts. There's no evidence that have come out to say that this young lady was involved in it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to run with that scenario right now, you know, until I get more facts and evidence to prove that, you know, this is a possibility, you know. But I just think that it's interesting that, you know, they keep showing this picture. This is like the second or third time that they've showed this picture, you know, with this young lady, and they keep making the same statement that it's a possibility that, you know, she could be the one that set him up. You know, but like I said, man, this is Keep It Authentic TV, bringing you the latest news from an authentic view. I got to keep it authentic with y'all. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no facts to back this claim up, so I can't run with that scenario. You know what I'm saying? I hope and pray that this young lady didn't have anything to do with it, because if she did, you know, you got a long fight ahead of you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're dealing with, you know, a young man that you possibly set up. Now he's lost his life. You know what I'm saying? So I hope and pray that that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? I wish the best for this young lady. You know what I'm saying? But I just can't run with that scenario right now until, you know, we get some facts and some evidence to back it up. Let's continue.
The messages from what looks like Snapchat, where she admitted that she was on the scene. First, the father's post will state, quote, "This Mina girl better walk in the police station and say everything she knows right now, if she knows what's good for her, or she just is guilty. Please share." Now the messages will state, quote, "It was Jackson car. I know, Mina. I had no idea anything was gonna happen. I know you didn't know. I'm not blaming you. Are you okay? He's only 17. I know." Now it seems like to me when she says it was Jackson's car, she's referring to that 2010 Chevrolet that the police are looking for. When she said it's Jackson's car, that had to be somebody else equivalent to the other car, which was driven by Tyson. And this will also prove that whoever Mina is, she was present with him during the shooting, because she even admitted to it in the messages and said that she didn't know anything about anything. But it's
Okay, let's stop right there. Okay, so now we getting some facts coming out. Okay, so apparently this young lady, you know, that we just saw in that photo, you know, apparently this young lady on Snapchat and posted, you know, some messages on Snapchat saying that, you know, she was on the scene when this supposed incident took place. Okay, she's also identifying the vehicle. So the Chevrolet Impala that's in question, right? She's identifying either the owner of that car when she says that was Jackson's car. She's either identifying the owner of that car, or she's identifying the person that was driving that car on this particular night. You know what I'm saying? So with her being on the scene, okay, I agree with what the father said. You know, you was there. You know what took place. So why haven't you gone into the police station and told them everything that you know? Because posting messages on Snapchat, it only makes you look guilty. It only makes you look like, okay, you was there, you know what went down, but yet you're not telling us anything. That only makes you look guilty. That makes you an accessory after the fact. You know what I'm saying? So that's just like saying that your friends pick you up from your house. They say, hey, we just going out for a ride. We just gonna go cruise and smoke, whatever, right? And then they end up going and rob somebody. Now, you may not know anything about this robbery. They pull up on somebody, they rob them, they shoot them and kill them. Okay, now, even though you knew nothing about it, even though you didn't participate in it, you was there. You witnessed it. So as a witness, the law says you're supposed to go to the authorities and tell them what you know. Because if they investigate this crime, if they investigate this robbery that turned into a homicide, you know what I'm saying? If they investigate this and find out that you were there and you didn't say anything, you are now an accessory after the fact. So once again, my advice to this young lady, whoever you are, whatever information you know, go to the police, tell them what you know, get yourself up out of this situation. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I understand the young culture, the street culture, you know, the code and all that. I don't want to be labeled as a snitch. Okay, listen, it's one of two things. You either get labeled as a snitch or you get charged with accessory after the fact and potentially throw your life away. So, you know, it's a tough decision to make, but you know, you gotta do what's right. You gotta do what's right. listen, I understand for all my street niggas, right? Listen, for all my street niggas, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all live by the code. But let's be real, man. In 2026, streets is dead, bro. There ain't no love in the streets. There ain't no loyalty in the streets. You know what I'm saying? And some of the toughest gangsters is telling. You know what I'm saying? In 2026, snitching is the way to go. So, you know, it's a tough choice for this young lady, and I hope she makes the right one. Let's continue.
Seem like the little bit that she do know, maybe the police will want to know as well. Now, aside from just the messages alone, when you pay attention to the pictures he took just 2 hours before his death, either he had a tripod with him, or these were taken by somebody who was present. So the $1 million question is who? And why did they leave the scene instead of telling law enforcement everything that they knew? Now, I found another article based on the situation that will also allude to there being someone else present during the shooting, as the article would state, quote, cops are saying the shooting that left a 17-year-old slumped in a crashed car absolutely was not random. Somebody deliberately put a bullet in this kid named Tyson Goodsell before his ride crashed near Willow Trail. Officers got the call for gunfire late Saturday in a normally chill residential pocket near Pleasant View Drive and Willow Lane, but the scene they actually found was a nightmare. A vehicle smashed up near the townhomes with the teen inside suffering from a gunshot wound. They raced him to the hospital, yet nothing could be done and he died, sparking a wave of grief online as friends posted memories while authorities still haven't officially confirmed his identity. The non-random detail is what sticks because it completely changes how you look at the records. This wasn't a stray bullet or wrong place, wrong time chaos, but something intentional that ended with a car crash. Investigators are now digging through surveillance footage from houses and businesses, and they've specifically flagged the silver Chevrolet Impala that was in the area, believing that vehicle holds answers about who crossed paths with Tyson and why it escalated to M. What happened in that car before it veered off and stopped for good remains locked behind the silence of whoever was there. Now, if you pay attention to what it said whatever happened inside the car, which means that they have reason to believe that whatever took place may have took place inside of the car, sounding like they believe that he was shot in the car first, and then that's what led to the wreckage. Not sure, just going based off what the article is saying. Now,
okay, let's stop right there and address that. Okay, so, see, there's a lot of things that's coming out that just ain't adding up for me. Okay, so now they're trying to say that this incident possibly took place inside of the victim's car. Okay, so now my question for that is, if it did take place into the car, how did the person that committed the incident, how did they get out of the car before? You know, did they jump out while the car was moving? You know, did the car stop and, you know, they got out and then, like, I just, like, something just ain't adding up. You know, because if you're in the car with somebody, right, and they're driving, and you know, shoot them in the head, okay, chances are, you know, their foot is probably going to hit the gas, you know what I'm saying? And, like, I mean, I don't know, it's just not adding up. You know, like, if this took place inside the vehicle, how did the person that committed the crime get out of the vehicle before it crashed? You know what I'm saying? That's a question that has remained to be answered. But let's keep going.
Well, social media, although you have a bunch of people saying that Tyson was this loving, caring, hardworking kid, you have others that feel he couldn't have been so innocent, because if he worked at a pizza shop and was a 17-year-old student, then where did he get all that money? And I get it. But
right,
also, this is not the 90s, y'all. It's 2026, where you have kids in high school, sometimes even junior high school, making more money than teachers legally. Whether it's through YouTube or whatever social media platform, crypto, selling courses, etc. The point is that we're living in times where young kids have more than or even just as much money as some of these adults. So we can't just jump to conclusions and allege that the money he had came from anything illegal. Now, should he have shown the money on social media? Yes and no. As adults, we know that flashing money in the streets can lead to hate, jealousy, envy, and even people wanting to take what you have and going to the furthest extent to do so, all over a little bit of money. But does it make it okay? No. And remember that he was a kid himself, so of course, he wanted to show off a little money for whatever reason. We all been through it. But if you ask me, it definitely seemed like a setup from whoever was close. I believe someone was in that car with him. That's just my opinion. He gets off work at 9 p.m., takes the picture shortly after, and then right after that, he's unalive. All within the span of just 2 hours. Someone knew he had that money. Someone may have even been present. So I believe there's someone else involved, but we just have to let the police do their job, and we'll just have to wait and see. But until then, rest in peace to Tyson G. Condolences to his family, and y'all jump in the comments and let me know what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'ma keep on dropping. I'm out. Are you tired of a bunch of social?
All right. Like I said, man, you know what I'm saying? It's a tragic situation. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, although we've, throughout that video we just watched, we've, you know, learned some more new details, some more, you know, new information as far as what the article that we read before we watched the video gave us. You know what I'm saying? So we now know that, you know, it's a possibility that there could have been a young female that set this up. You know, even though I'm not running with that scenario just yet. You know what I'm saying? I gotta have a little bit more evidence, you know, and a little bit more facts, you know, to back that claim up. But it's a possibility. You know, we also know it's a possibility that, you know, somebody could have been in the car with him. You know, I mean, there's a lot of things that we need to address and look on. You know what I'm saying? We need to really analyze, you know, facts that we know about this case and try to piece it together. Listen, let me make this very clear, right? I am not here to solve crime. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not here to do the police's job for them. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to bring you the latest news and give it to you from an authentic view. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that, you know, I'm the type of person, you know, I've been on both sides. You know, I've been on the side of life where, you know, I was in the streets doing my thing. You know, I've paid my debt to society for that. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm on the other side of life where, you know, not in the streets. You know, I'm not out here committing crime, you know, so I know what it's like to live on both sides. And I understand, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, oh man, I mean, I understand, like I said, both parents are going through a tough time right now. You know, I think the father is, you know, going through it a little more than possibly the mother, you know, just based on the statements that he made, you know. But nonetheless, like I said, man, for the father, gotta let justice take its course. For the mother, you know, I send my condolences to you. I wish you the best. You know what I'm saying? I hope that you and your family get justice for this tragic incident. But like I said, man, for all you young kids out there, man, that's watching this, listen, it's not cool to flash large amounts of money. All that does is put a target on your back. All that does is make you a target. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of jealous, envious, unhappy, broke people out here. You know what I'm saying? That when they see things like this, they look at it as an easy come up for them. Once again, they don't know if that money's real or fake. They don't know if the jewelry around your neck is real or fake. They don't know if the watch on your wrist is real or fake. They don't know if the bracelet is real or fake. They don't know if the earrings is real or fake. The grill that you got in your mouth is real or fake. They don't know that. They just see it and they look at it as, okay, he got a little money. We finna get him. You know, so like I said, man, for all my young folks watching this video, man, listen. Make smarter choices in your life. You know, if you got something good going on in your life, stick to that, man. Don't succumb to the peer pressure of, you know, entering into the street life or entering into the life of crime or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Don't succumb to that, man. You a kid, you doing good for yourself, you playing sports or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Stick to that, man. But like I said, man, we finna get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Once again, rest in peace to the homie, Tyson G, you know, also known as Tyson Michael Goodsell. You know what I'm saying? Condolences to his family. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, until the next one, man, we out of here. Let's go.